We thought we'd show you around Penang. Penang is actually one of the most urbanised and modern states of Malaysia. This is the famous bicycle street art. Along with street art, Penang is also famous for its street food.
And what's this called?
Chocolate milk.
Yeah, it's probably not my favourite.
Wow, look at all the high rises! I have not seen a high rise for a very long time. This is very exciting. We might not be sailing to a new country, but sailing to a new province is just as exciting.
After months of looking at the same Langkawi scenery, arriving to the city of Penang stirred up those forgotten feelings of anticipation and nervousness of the unknown. Both great feelings to a traveller and ones rarely felt this year. Our main objective in sailing to Penang was to find a hospital and doctor to have our baby. But with a few days before our appointment, we were excited to experience something new and explore this new area.
So Marley's in good care for the day. It's pretty convenient being right next to the marina for that. Let's go adventure.
We thought we'd show you around Penang. Penang is actually one of the most urbanised and modern states of Malaysia, but there is a very old section to it as well. Modern Penang was shaped by British colonialism back in 1790. It was the first British settlement in Southeast Asia, and we're down here at Georgetown, which is where all the old colonial buildings are. There's so much history and awesome stuff to see here. So let's go and have a look around.
First, let's have a quick history lesson about Penang. Penang was founded in 1786 on behalf of the East India Company. The British brought political and economic stability to the area as Georgetown acted as the centre of trade for spices, rubber and tin for the West. This in turn brought traders from both India and China. Fast forward to the 1960s and the rent for properties were frozen, making it near impossible for landlords to maintain their properties. By the 21st century, the narrow streets were crowded with people amongst dilapidated, century-old buildings. In 2008, Georgetown became a World Heritage Site, which then brought tourism and money to the area. The State Tourism Board wanted to provide visitors a good experience, and one of the highest priorities was to tell the story and history of Georgetown as the living museum. Street art was born.
There is a lot of street art that's spray painted on all these buildings around Georgetown, so I know we really enjoy going around looking at old art, and even like graffiti artists. I have a lot of friends that are graffiti artists, legal ones. So it's really good to go check out all the street art.
This is our ride. All the big buildings there. Australia. There's lots of temples in Georgetown. We've been past quite a few already, but this one is pretty special. Beautiful.
So old mate captain of the cyclists has dropped us off in here. We said we wanted to see the street art, and he's dropped us off at this lane which says it's just street art. So it looks like artists are allowed to just come in here and paint, since it says at the front that anything offensive will be painted over. Well, yeah, we can walk through. Looks like it's a pretty long hallway and stuff through the old buildings here and come out the other side. Some pretty cool things to look at already. Is that Marley? Wait, boss, you gotta look at this. The staircase. Just walking up some random staircase. So who knows where.
Yes, all my dreams are coming true. All I wanted to be growing up was tank girl.
Tank girl.
Anyone else or just me? You've been stealing butter.
Walking around these like old colonial buildings that are all like kind of run down and full of art. It's very reminiscent of walking around Berlin. I did this with a mate in Berlin. We spent weeks walking around looking for Banksy works and stuff. This is very reminiscent.
As part of developing the Living Museum of Georgetown, back in 2012, the Georgetown Festival commissioned an artist by the name of Ernest Zakarevic from Lithuania to create a number of murals around the narrow streets to illustrate the multiculturalism and diversity of the history of the area. He is now referred to as the Malaysian Banksy, and we were both pretty keen to check out his pieces, piling back into our squeaky chariot in search of these murals.
This is the famous bicycle street art. There's normally a huge lineup of people here, but because we're in, COVID times, there's no crowds here, so we can get our little picture.
Ernest had created 6 different murals hidden around the streets of Georgetown. We tried our best to check them all out and snap up some Polaroids at each one. Cruising around the streets, it's real interesting to look at all the buildings, because it is an old colonial town, but there's a lot of old colonial buildings, but then there's a lot of old buildings that have been restored to modern buildings, and then there's a mix of temples that are thrown in there, and then high-rise buildings like the Chamber of Commerce that we're going past now, But it's very interesting. There's a lot of different architecture going on.
There is.
Oh, this is that light tower. This is where we checked in.
Check this out for a piece of bloody ingenuity. Now that's cool as shit.
Strapped in?
I think it's strapped in. Oh, we better go before we get caught looking at the truck.
These nuts on the side of the road here, and I was very curious. So these are nutmegs, and we're getting a nutmeg juice. So they make the juice out of this part here. I've never had one before. Apparently it's very sour and sweet as well. Sour plum?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sour plum.
Okay.
This one is the sour plum.
Okay.
Very refreshing.
Okay.
I'm the guinea pig as usual because Mia is pregnant, and we just googled, and large doses of nutmeg are not good for pregnant women. So up you go, Yosh, in your mate.
What's it taste like?
It's nice and sweet, but that sour plum is ooh, gives you a little kick on there. Yeah, it's probably not my favourite,
No?
but I think I'll be drinking all of this one.
Okay.
It's so hot. We need these. Lining the edge of Georgetown is an area known as the Clan Jetties. Back in 1882, when the waterfront was developed, short jetties were constructed for loading and unloading goods. Over time, settlements grew and the jetties became identified as dominated by Chinese clans. The 7 clans fought regularly over work consignments and access. The clans still occupy each jetty, and over time the area has become more of a tourist attraction. People still live and occupy these huts.
With legend.
Since the families live over water and are not technically on land, they have never had to pay any land tax. The contrast of the huts over the water next to the city landscape is quite the spectacle.
Yeah, so may I try one? With ice? Which one you want? The one that you made. Yeah, is it sweet or like lemon? Sweet. Yeah, I'll try that one, please. $2.40. That's a lychee, eh?
Yeah.
And the lemon. It's really sweet. It's kind of like a jello-y sort of thing. Hell good. See what has been going for 50 years.
Along with street art, Penang is also famous for its street food. In 2014 it won TripAdvisor's Foodie Destination of the Year. There's such an awesome mix of cultures here, and it definitely shows in the types of foods that are on offer. So we're going to try some of the local dishes. Well, Yosh is going to try them. I'm a vegetarian, so I'm kind of limited to what I can eat. But it's lunchtime, we're hungry, so let's just try some Malaysian Penang food.
So through Benita's research, she's found a good 10 dishes that are quite common in Malay, and I'm just going to sit here and see what Benita can deliver. So I've got something coming up, I'm not sure. We'll wait and see what it is. Okay, this is... And what's this called?
Char kway teow.
Char kway teow?
Char, that means it's a fry.
Char is fried?
Yeah, kway teow.
Kway teow. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I see prawns, which is good. Good for me, but bad for Benita, so there'll be no kissing after this because I'll kill her. It's pretty nice. It's really good. It's a bit sweet, I guess. Not really that peppery. Might have just been the heat at the start, but like it's got strip bits of meat. Not sure if it's pork or beef. It's been that long that I've eaten meat like that, but they're very marinated and sweet. Really nice.
I ended up getting a falafel wrap, which is a Middle Eastern dish, but I'm vegetarian. I find it hard to find the right meal, so this is just easy. And normally they'll put like the falafel in the wrap and then everything else on the outside. So I had to ask them to put everything on the inside of the wrap. So it's got lettuce, tomato, hummus, and falafel inside. Yeah, it's really good. There's lots of these food courts around where you can get a really cheap feed. So Yosh's feed today was 6.5 ringgit, so that's probably like $2 in Australian, maybe like $1.50 in American. And I'm getting a falafel wrap. It's 8 ringgit, so it's probably like closer to $3 Australian. So yeah, really cheap.
I kind of forgot what it was like trying all new foods. Because Benita is vegetarian and she's allergic to prawns and seafood and some seafoods, we're always quite protective in the way that we do eat and where we choose to eat out, so I don't really get to try a lot of new stuff very often, so it's good going to like a food court where I can just lash out. It's one of the beauties about travelling, is just trying new things. It's good.
Worn out, we jumped in a grab to take us back to the marina. It was nice to play tourist again and take some pictures around the old area, but we must make Benita the vessel rest for the following day as we had our 20-week scan and a hospital to check out.
We're in a rush this morning. We have a doctor's appointment at the hospital, and the dog carer opens at 10 o'clock, so we dropped Marley off at 10 and my appointment's at 10:30, so now we have to rush to the hospital.
Thank you.